Good morning, ma'am. Good
Morning, ma'am.
morning.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everyone doing this evening?
We are fine.
Good. Students, are you tired after a long day of school? A little bit?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, as you know, I'm just starting my day here. I've already taken my foster dog out for a walk.
Mhm.
Luckily, it's not raining right now. It was pouring rain last night, but we took our walk at a time when there was no rain, so I was so happy about that.
Here it was raining very heavily a moment ago.
Right now too, actually.
Oh, okay. It seems like we went from summer to fall so quickly, just overnight.
Yeah.
We got the rains and the wind.
How is ma'am Susan now? She's on the picnic, right?
She's still on vacation, I believe,
Yeah.
visiting her son somewhere far away in the United States.
Yes, yes. So how is that dog with you, ma'am? He must be acquainted with you now.
Oh yes, she's such a good dog. I took her to the vet on Friday and she got her shots.
Oh,
So now I'm just waiting for the shelter to tell me that she's available to be adopted. I I love her, but I wish she would go to her a family would find her
yeah.
and take her home and love her. So, and I'm leaving a week from this Thursday, I'll be leaving and I'll
Okay.
be gone from home for 2.5 months. So I hope she finds a home before then.
Mhm.
She's sleeping right by my side. I have a bed right next to my computer desk for her. And then at night, I drag it in right next to my bed. So she's always right with me. She likes her treats. She likes to eat whenever I'll let her.
Oh.
I think most dogs are like that.
Are we going to start that, ma'am?
Yes, anytime. I didn't know if we were waiting for other people to
Yeah.
join. Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. I have a question for the students.
Yes.
I've been putting together these slideshows of my trip to northern India about a year ago, actually. Would you like me to switch to something different? Do you want to see slides about when I went to Mongolia or when I went to New Zealand or
Yes, yes, of course, ma'am. Why not?
do something different, do a different country?
Yes, yes. We would love to see that.
Okay, well, I'll finish tomorrow. I'll do one for tomorrow. I've got it almost finished about still with my trip to India. But then for next week, I'll start on one of the other countries. I'll surprise you.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yes, children?
How does that sound? Would you like to see something different?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll do that next week. So this one for today actually should have gone earlier in the slideshow, but I just did it last night. So anyway, this is one of the places that we visited, and they had a car museum as part of their hotel. So, and I love old cars. This is a really quick slideshow. There's not a lot of words, but there's some for you to read.
Mhm.
So I called it the Dungarpur Car Museum, but it's really just part of a hotel that we stayed at. So yes, go ahead. Okay, who wants to start reading? Shivansh, would you start, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Shivansh, go ahead.
The British term views
Views.
means a row or counted
Courtyard.
yard
Courtyard.
courtyard of stables and carriage houses and living quarters for houses, coachmen and stable servants since the day of horses and buggy are long gone. Most mews have been converted into home or garages. The Dungarpur views at the Udai Villas Place
Palace.
now
Palace.
houses a car and motorcycles museum.
Imagine we walked out there, we had no idea. They said, oh, just come out in the back. We want to show you something. And they open these doors and there's just rows and rows of old cars. That blue one in the front in the left-hand picture was my favorite.
Hmm. This one.
Yep.
Sir, this car is near our school. We go na, sir.
Mhm.
There is one garage, sir. Same
Mhm.
car is there, sir, like this.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Next slide.
Wow.
Sartak, would you read this one?
Yes, ma'am. The Bridge Blue 1950 Cadillac Series 62 convertible was my favorite car in the collection. The Cadillac brand was then added and is still associated with luxury automobiles. Appreciation for the performance of Cadillacs soared when world-renowned sports car driver Briggs Cunningham entered a 1950 Cadillac Cup in the 24 hours of Le Mans race in France and finishing 10th overall. The 24 hours of Le Mans is an endurance-focused sports car race held annually near the town of Le Mans, France. It is widely considered to be one of the world's most prestigious races.
Good. Yeah, so do people near where you live, does anyone have a Cadillac? No.
We rarely see it.
Pardon?
We rarely get to see it.
Yes. Mostly, of course, probably in the United States we have them, but my whole life I've known Cadillacs were very fancy, expensive cars. And like it said here, that's what they were known for, and they still are. But then this race car driver, he also designed cars, Briggs Cunningham. He, even though they were known for being luxurious, beautiful, comfortable, he showed the world that they also had really good engines and that's what I mean by their performance. They were able to just go with all the other sports cars. This car does not look like a sports car that could race fast. It looks like a big, heavy machine that would go slow, in my opinion. But he proved that this kind of car with that engine could also go very fast. Have you heard of the 24 Hours of Le Mans? Has anyone heard of that race? As it says, it's a 24-hour race. I'm pretty sure that they have teams that drive it maybe for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and then they switch off. I think that's how it works. But it's definitely 24 hours, that's all they race. So, okay, so there's my favorite car from the night. Go ahead to the next slide.
Wow.
Okay, Manav, you want to read this one? Oh, Maitri, sorry, you were next in line. Sorry, Maitri was next. I'm going down the list.
The Volkswagen Beetle, officially the Volkswagen Type 1, is an economic car that was manufactured and marketed by the German company Volkswagen VW from 1938 to 2003. It has a rear engine design with a two-door body style. The wall square. I'm not able to pronounce it.
You got it.
Volkswagen means people's car in German.
So what about, do you see these kind of cars there? No? This is actually the older style. My family had one of these when I was in high school, and I used to drive that sometimes. But this particular style is not made anymore. The VW, we call it the VW Bug. It's called or some people call it the Beetle, but we just always called it a Bug, B-U-G. And they've come out with newer ones that look much more modern. So this particular style was only till 2003. And it is interesting because, as you know, most cars have their engines in the front, but this one has their engine in the back. And then the front part where you can see it has a handle down below, that whole part lifts up, and that's what we would call the trunk of the car where you store things. So it's kind of engineered backwards from most cars because it has the engine in the back and the trunk in the front. The car down under the older car underneath it, I tried on Google to find out what kind of car that was, and I just could not be sure. So I didn't try and make up anything, but I like that old style car too. It probably was from the 30s, I think. Maybe I don't know. Anybody know? Who is it that knows cars in this group? Isn't there someone? Who is it? Isn't there one of the students that really likes cars? Oh, maybe somebody's not here today.
Mano is
Anyway,
raising hand.
let's go on. Oh, Shivansh? Yes, Siobhan?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the one that really likes cars?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you like new cars or older ones?
Ma'am, I like most older cars, ma'am, because that cars are very uh, luxurious types and very look nice to buy a new car, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. I love the old ones. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Ma'am,
Yes, Mona?
ma'am, I also like cars, and like you said that you like older cars, cars or new cars. I will choose both because some new cars are there. There are some technologies, and old cars are there. That is so high price, high costly, and only that I saw in that Mr. Beast one video. That one car was there. It is so special car, and it was so. It's a maximum $100 million, something about $100 million. It was in US, and only one piece was there in the world. And for that, specially securities are there, and one man is having that car, and for especially for that, wherever he want to go, for that specially that police comes there and they protect that car, and they clean the full that road also, because it will be damaged. Then now their parts are not there, like we will accident will happen, then we can change the parts of our these cars, but that car is so costly, and because of that we can change the parts. That's why it is so costly.
And I know there is a king of a country called near Singapore, I think, Brunei. Have you heard this?
I know of Brunei.
Yeah,
What about
so Brunei, the king of Brunei is having the most passionate person on the earth to have cars. He has the collection of more than 5,000 cars. And every new model sports car he purchases. He has maybe more than 200 this Rolls Royce, more than 500, all that, like that. If you go to the Google, you'll be surprised to see his collection of cars. Some cars are made of gold, and this every sports car in his collection. I don't think there is not a single model which the world has not made. He has a passion of is collecting the luxurious car, and in his palace there is a special place for keeping all those cars.
I can't even imagine having a car that was so special that you were afraid to drive it because it might get dirty or it might get a rock.
Uh,
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I'd like to drive them too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
this old car and that old one that I don't know what it is. I would love to drive that car.
yeah.
It looks really fun. Okay, I'm looking up the Sultan of Brunei car collection
Yeah,
next.
you will see so many different types. You'll be surprised to see. I have not seen so many cars with any king around the world. I saw so many people, but the king of Brunei has a very different collection.
You know, I thought it was interesting in this garage, in this kind of private museum, like this old car, they haven't fixed it up. They haven't made it all shiny and new and painted it.
Yeah,
And it'd be really cool if it was shiny and painted, but it's pretty cool just showing its true age.
yes.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, these are nice. Okay, who hasn't? Monov, your turn to read. Do you want to read the top
Yes.
paragraph, please?
Yes, ma'am. The
Navy,
Navy blue.
Park Dulux
Deluxe.
was
Packard, Clipper,
Dallas was
Deluxe.
built by the
Packard.
Park Packard Motor Car Company between 1941 and 1957. The model was named of a type
Name for
of mid 19th country
Century.
selling 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 sheep called the chilper
Clipper.
Clipper.
clipper. These selling clips were distance distance
Design
specially designed specially for speed.
specifically.
Specifically. Students, I have a question. Raise your hand so I can get some answers, please. What do you think, if you had a sailing ship that was designed specifically for speed, what would that ship be carrying in the old timey days? So that in the 1800s, the mid 19th century, what kind of ship would you need that would be just for speed?
I think a sports car.
No, I'm talking about the Clipper sailing ships.
Okay. Ships.
It says they were designed just for speed.
Mhm.
And they did carry, of course, some things, but what would you need to go very fast on the open ocean for?
Maybe fishes when they go fishing into the water.
Could be. That could be. I didn't even think about that one, Matri. That's a good one. Anybody else want to guess, or I'll tell you a couple things I thought of? One thing I thought of was ships that were fighting, like if your country was fighting in a war, they might be part of the Navy. And of course, they would still carry men and guns and supplies, but I thought probably a naval ship in a war would need to go fast. And the other one, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I would think maybe some of the slave ships that came from various places to the southern United States, and they went other places too. But of course, we have a unfortunate history of a lot of that. And lots of the ships were, of course, huge and carried lots of people. But towards the end of that period, when it became illegal to do that, there were still people that were still bringing slaves, even though it was illegal. So I wondered if at the end of that, they were bringing smaller ships that were fast, because they had boats that were people that were hired to look for these slave ships and stop them. So I was wondering if that was part of it too in the mid 18th century. I'm sorry, the mid 19th century, so the 1800s. Both slave ships that were trying to go fast, and also the boats that were trying to stop them, that were trying to catch them. So those were the things I was thinking about that the Clipper was named for. Although that navy blue car on the upper right, that doesn't look like it's made for speed. It looks like a big, beautiful, but slow car to me. So I was surprised that it was named after a fast sailing ship. But I like that one too. Okay, who is next?
Ma'am, should I read?
Yes, go ahead.
The green car is a Jaguar XK120. The number of the model name referred to its advertised top speed of 120 mph. Through in test drivers, the XK120 exceeded 130 mph that made it the world's fastest product car at the time of its debut
Debut.
debut at the 1948 London Motor Show.
Students, I realized I put something in here that probably you don't know what it is. That mph, that's miles per hour. Do you know that there? Because that's
Yes.
very common here. I didn't even think to spell it out because we just see it all the time.
Yes.
mph. And then that word, the next to the last line, debut, that
Hmm.
means when it first came out. Debut is the start of something.
Just the
Okay.
beginning, like an actor comes first time on the screen with some
Mhm.
movie or serial, then that is the debut.
Mhm. Okay, I like that little green car too. I think I like most of the cars here. Anybody else does anyone like one of those two cars?
Ma'am,
Yes.
Even I
Which
like this green one. Yes,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yep. Beautiful car. It looks like when you're driving, since I've been driving many, many years, but when I look at that little green car, I kind of wonder if I'm tall enough to see over that long hood. You sit way back there and it just looks so long to look over the top of that, but it sure is pretty. Okay, next slide.
Oh,
Okay, who's next for reading? Matri, would you read this one?
Yes, ma'am. The Standard Vanguard was produced by the Standard Motor Company in England from 1947 till 1963. After the World War II, many potential customers in the United Kingdom and in English-speaking export markets had recently experienced several years of military or naval service. So a car name related to the Royal Navy was personally meaningful to many individuals and families. The Standard
It's Vanguard.
Vanguard. Okay, Vanguard.
We don't say the
Was,
U. It's another one of those words that
mm,
doesn't make sense. Vanguard.
Vanguard was named for the HMS Vanguard. The last of the British Royal Navy battleships were launched in 1944 with lots of media attention. The Standard Motor Company had extensive negotiations with senior Royal Navy personnel before they were allowed to use the name Vanguard for their new car model.
This car looks to me like it's for just regular family people. So many of the other cars we've seen already were luxurious, and I would assume most people couldn't afford those other ones. But this looks like it might have been for a regular family. And do you know HMS? Do you know what HMS stands for? That's His Majesty's ship or Her Majesty's ship. So if it's a royal ship of the British Navy, well, a ship of the British Navy, they usually officially have HMS in front of them, meaning it belongs to His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness, the King or Queen. Okay. I just realized that car has on the left-hand side of the picture, there's like a big bar with two wheels on it coming out of the car. Can you see that?
Yes.
I hadn't looked at that before. I wonder what that is.
I think when you are going to the parking area, I think I have seen in some cars when you are going to the parking area, and if that place is very small, just to park you, or if the place is very congested, so sometime some wheels come out of the car, and they help you to take in a different position immediately.
So you don't scrape your car on the side?
Yes, you don't have to just take front and rear just to adjust it. It will take you suddenly to the left or right.
Well, that is a fancy car then.
Yes, I have seen in some car that system.
Parallel parking is easier that
Yes,
way.
yes, easily. Like you are going ahead or back. Instead of that, doing 3-4 times you have to do to adjust it. If the place is not adjustable, then just you go near that parking area and you take a right. The car will go direct inside.
Okay.
I think it is that only. This one.
Okay. So Maitri, you said parallel parking. Does that mean you're driving already?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm interested in cars too.
Okay. At what age will you be able to drive in your country?
18. Yeah.
18? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. We drive at 16 here. You have to wait so long.
Yes.
It's probably much safer, I have to say,
Yeah,
because a lot
Mhm.
of kids that are 16 and the younger kids seem to get in lots of accidents,
yes, yes.
mainly because they want to get all their friends in the car and drive too fast and make unwise decisions. So when you're 18, you're a little more mature and probably make a little better decisions.
Yes.
That is a long time to wait, though. The students in the United States would be so unhappy if they had to wait till they were 18 now, that because they now get at 16. And some students, some young people whose families own big farms, and the students grew up driving tractors and different kinds of farm equipment on their farm. They are allowed to drive the farm equipment, I believe, on the roads even when they're 15. If they're just going from one pasture to another pasture, I believe they can do that at 15. I'm not sure though, because I didn't grow up on a farm. Okay, next slide.
Oh, bullet.
Yeah, some of them don't have any verbiage, just some fun pictures.
Royal Enfield.
And at the back, the picture on the right,
Bobby.
And BMW.
It is Bobby.
One BMW is
This
also there.
BMW. This Royal Enfield. These both are Royal Enfield. I had a Royal Enfield.
And
I'm sorry, sir, what was the
And-
name of the last two?
Yeah, this is Bobby, I
that
think.
Royal Enfield.
Yeah, this is called Bobby.
And the ones on the right-hand side, what are those?
This is a BMW.
And the next two.
Yeah, and these two are called Royal Enfield Classic model.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
I had a bike like this. Recently, I sold it because of my hand problem. I had an accident long ago, so my surgeon advised me not to use heavy bike.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's the one on the very far right, that kind of cage that goes around. There's that kind of cage stuff on the right-hand side. That
Yeah,
seems
this,
like it would be very on the right, on the very rightmost bike.
yeah, this one. Or this one.
That one, yeah. See that little cage
Yeah,
right
this is a
there.
guard. This is a guard, side guard, we say. If accidentally, if somebody falls, because this is a very heavy bike. Its net weight is without any person. Net weight is 200 kg.
Oh my goodness.
Therefore, I had to sell it.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
when you are pulling it on the stand, so you have to put a lot of pressure on your hand.
Uh-huh.
And if you put it on the side stand, it is very risky. Sometimes children are playing. If it falls, then it breaks the leg or hand, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very, very heavy bike. I use it more than 5 to 7 years, but I didn't want to sell it, but I was compelled. I was compelled because I started having pain in my shoulder. So he said, no, you have to take the lighter one.
Okay. And then the other picture was just some things. They had a lot. Do you know the word memorabilia?
Yeah,
Memorabilia.
yeah, that is,
That's items that give you memories.
yes.
So all these, the Harley Davidson jacket and the caps and the pictures, those would be considered memorabilia.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at them and you have memories. Okay, next slide.
Wow. The
So
collection
this
of
is
all
after we walked
antique
through all the cars. This was a
things.
little room at the very back. Okay, whose turn is it now? Oh, we only have a few students.
Ma'am, can I?
Manap, would you read this one, please?
Okay. We had a big surprise as we were relaxing in the
Social.
so- social room at the back of the
Museum.
museum. All of the student sudden the floor of the enter room began rising. We learned that the floor had a hydraulic
Good. Hydraulic.
hydraulic
Do you know what a hydraulic lift is? Yes. I put a link to a little video if you want to watch it, but if you already know what it is, then we don't need to. We were just surprised because you can see we were sitting, we were standing, and all of a sudden the floor started just raising. We had no idea what was happening, and we were so surprised that nobody got their cameras out to take a video. I wish we would have. But
Okay, should I play that?
I don't know how far it raised, maybe a foot, or I don't know. We were just shocked because the floor was going up.
Should I play the video?
Well, if you like, yes, it's a short one.
Yeah, they will.